Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Like Water for Chocolate. It's Lex Love.
And your girl, Truth. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. So, we're here. Gonna get into it again. Again. How was your week, dear?
My week was not as busy. That's because I had to force myself to relax. I started a new job, regular job.
Right.
And, when you go through training, that's like mentally exhausting. So the fact that I had to learn all this new stuff, I think that's what forced me to take it easy on everything else.
Hour after hour of just the same shit over and over.
And then it's like classroom setting. Exactly. I don't even like school.
Yeah, me neither.
So
actually, that kind of doesn't fall too good with what we're talking about today.
I mean, that's why we brought somebody else here that's going to talk about the importance, because I'm not going to tell y'all that.
That is so true.
But yeah, I absolutely took it easy a little bit. But good. I'm back at it, recording with you. Yeah. We did pillow talk, and then I got my ladies' luncheon today.
Yep.
So yeah, now it's back. It's back on the move now. Training's over. I start my regular shift. Now I can be left alone at work. I don't have to pretend to make friends.
Right.
Just me and my desk and my customers, and I'm good.
You told me you weren't really vibing.
No,
right?
I realize I'm different. It's not them. It's me. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
How it is sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you?
Stand out. It's been pretty cool. A lot of changes at my job too. You know how to.
Yeah,
I'm not messing with that place anymore.
Yeah,
but
it's always a downer when we bring up your job. It's like, damn it, Lex, we got to get you out of that dungeon.
It's the worst. It sucks being like someone who is essential. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I get a lot of shit done around there,
but they don't appreciate it, and that's what sucks.
Yeah, and
they're gonna appreciate it when you gone, because we're gonna find you a new office.
No, that's on the horizon.
I need Dr. Strictly to open up a space
Stop
for
it
you
right now. I need a Northwest office for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we have a great guest. She's a friend of ours, but she's also just a phenomenal woman, and y'all know how we feel about our women.
Yeah.
And y'all don't know her, but y'all gonna get to know her, and y'all gonna understand the importance of her. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Good morning. My name is Ciara Massey.
Hi, Cierra.
Hi, Miss Massey.
Hello.
So those of you that always, stay connected with us, we had her husband on our show, Mr. Educated Thug.
Yes, my educated thug.
Your educated thug. And so they're great friends of me and my husband and Lex Love as well. They're just great people to know.
Yeah.
And we only felt it be right if we had Mrs. Massey on the show, because she also does a lot in our community and a lot for our children. And just wanted to make sure we kind of shine the spotlight on our beautiful melanated sister.
Thank you.
And her melanin is popping, y'all, in real life. Y'all know I talk like I'm melanated, but she really got it popping. But
thank you.
We want to more so. We wanted to bring her on because, like I said, y'all know I don't really like school, but we need y'all to know.
We can't sit there and say we need people to start embracing not necessarily the institution of school, but the essence of what it can bring to you.
That's why you're on
one thing.
That's right.
You're going to help me in real life.
But y'all gonna have to do this every day.
Steer us in the right way.
We have to preach it, the importance of it. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the formal education, but also the informal. There's a quote, I'm sure y'all heard it. The student that's only educated at school is an uneducated child.
That's real.
And so one of the most important things is that we start in the home when they're young, of not just telling them that school is important, because we can tell kids anything. This is not one of those do as I say, not as I do type of situations. Mm-hmm. This needs to be, we're showing them that we're constantly learning, we're constantly seeking education, and we're constantly practicing our craft. One of the most amazing things about how I grew up was my parents both had initially high school educations, and they stressed college tests from the beginning. Mm-hmm. College was not an option. It was where we were going.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it all is there was constantly learning in my house, reading.
That's awesome.
We went to the bookstore on a weekly basis, the library, and even though I have never seen my dad read a book in his life, my dad always was reading the newspaper, magazines, watching the History Channel, Discovery Channel. My mother would go through books like crazy. Like
you know what? Your mom looks like she will really read. She looks
really
like a reader.
Reads. I remember, this was before the days of like cell phones. I remember one day riding in the back of the car, my mom pulls a book out at the stoplight. And I remember being a kid looking like, what are you doing? Like, Mom. And she wanted to finish her chapter. She wanted to finish her stuff. Like education was always important. Watching the news, and we played school like crazy. And not only, I was always the teacher. I had to be. I was the oldest. So I'm really bossy. I don't know if y'all know. And I would create lesson plans, and I was for real opening these books that we had in our house, talking about, okay, we're going to read this poem, and we're going to analyze it, and we're going to do this. Like, it was real, and I am so grateful for that, because all of my sisters, not all, I have two, my two sisters and we seek so much knowledge.
And you guys are
amazing.
all doing great things.
Yeah.
Which is, I know your mom and dad, they gotta be proud. Like, you normally got like a couple kids that may do great, and you got that one where you're like, oh, what happened? But like with you ladies, like you're all doing something with your life. You're not just sitting and letting life take over. You are taking over life, and that's what's up.
Yes, we were afforded the amazing opportunity of that, where they let us figure out like what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. But education was always going to be number one. Education was our job. And getting bad grades was not an option. But we had an internal drive. But once again, I think that's because of all that we saw around us. My mom's hard worker, loves math, can do numbers like crazy, reads a million books. We used to have so many books in the house. We still have so many books in all of our separate homes. It's ridiculous. My dad was in the military.
Well, there you have
very disciplined. He tells the story all the time that his parents, had like 8th grade educations, and he
like
knew he
dad.
was going to at least get a high school education, and he's going to go in the military, and my kids are going to get college educations. And you have me now working on my doctorate. I'm in the proposal phase.
There you go.
It's getting real. You have my middle sister. She's against the establishment, so she doesn't necessarily feel the importance of a piece of paper, which is okay because she got her hustle as well. And then I have my younger sister. She's actually getting ready to graduate with her second master's in May.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And so I guess my thing with that is I am not big on the piece of paper either. However, I never stop learning, and I let my kids know. Well, their father is an educator, and he's big on school. Yes. So that at least we got a balance. So you got mommy the hustler, and then you got dad the educator. But I still learn in so many other ways, and I love to read, especially if I find a good book. It'll be done in like a day. Yep. Because I'm like your mom. If I can stop at the stoplight and read a few chapters.
What are you doing?
That's what's just going to happen because I want to finish the book. You will see me randomly whip it out at work and my face is just deep and people are talking to me and I'm not hearing you because I want to finish this book. Yeah. And so reading is a lost thing in this time since we're bringing up books. And me and Lex talk about all the time. We don't like to read on Kindles or phones.
No,
we like to turn pages.
Yes. And I feel like that's what brought books down because of all the electronics. You can whip out your phone, your tablet.
Or you can have a voice read to you.
That's right.
But I'm not even going to hate on that. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I need the piece of paper. I'm very old school because we grew up reading books. Like I want to be able to mark on it. I want to be able to, highlight and underline. Yeah. I'm big on quotes. Like, I'm huge on quotes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the audiobooks make education accessible, or information, I should say, accessible to other people that have a complex or an issue with sitting down and actually reading the book, whether they don't.
That makes sense
think
when you put it that way.
They
Yeah.
can't pronounce the word, or it's harder for them to focus unless it's something that they hear. And then the digital forms of the Kindles and the iPads and different things like that, even our cell phones for reading, allows you to carry multiple books at one time without having that weighed down backpack. Or it's good for travel. I know I was thankful for my iPad when I went on a cruise because I had a lot of downtime. I read more books on that 4-day cruise for leisure.
Right.
And I was able to do, any other time. And if I was packing originally, I wouldn't have been able to fit
all
those
books.
6-7 books.
Sure,
in the bag.
I get
So
that.
everything has a role and a purpose.
There you go. I didn't think about all
I
that.
hear you, but I'm still gonna go to Barnes and Nobles because that's one of my favorite spots. I love a real good book. Like it's such a great feeling when you find that good book and you read like a few pages while you're in the bookstore and you're like, "Yep, this is coming home with me."
I still like going to the library. Me and my daughter go to the library.
Yes.
Me and
twice a
Nemo
week.
used to go all the time.
Yeah, and going through, the aisles and finding those books and checking them out.
And to see them get excited about the books.
Absolutely.
Nemo got like this whole little plethora of books. Now, does he like to read them? Not yet. He likes to color in them. But they're still going to stay on that bookshelf because we went back, took it old school. We got some Dr. Seuss sitting on there.
Yes.
We have the
those
books
too.
that, teach about the different shades of brown because Nemo swears he's brown and I'm white. We going to figure that out. But yeah, books are absolutely awesome because with your daughter, the good thing about you taking her to the library, Lex, is that I know that Samay is so smart and savvy with technology. The little baby been flipping through YouTube and been able to work out Lex's phone since she was like a year and a half. Like she teaches Lex how to get to certain stuff on the phone before she even was able to fully form a sentence.
Yeah.
She knew what she needed to get to on that phone.
It's like you
and
can't
it was like
spell.
ABC Mouse, right?
Yes.
That was her thing back then, ABC Mouse.
It's like you can't spell and you can't read, but you can search on YouTube because they know how to hit that button.
Exactly.
And whatever word they need to do. My little brother, at this time, he was probably like 4. And I'm like, how is he finding this stuff?
Yeah.
And then finally, because I don't think about using technology that way like the kids do.
Right.
And I finally watched him. I said, this little black man is over here, like, speaking to the phone. That's how he get into these articles, these videos. So
That's right.
Nemo too. Like I was like, how did he know how to find kid cop shows?
yes. Yes.
Wait, I didn't
was
even
a
know
Kid
they
Cop show.
So kid cop shows, it's like this whole little mini series of these kids who pretend to be cop. Nemo got a fascination with cops
I
and
know.
firefighters, stuff like that. That's what he told me he wants to be. But the kids are like pulling over their friends in like the little Power Wheel cop cars and reading rights and everything. Like he knows. I was wondering why when he was playing with his cars and they got into a car accident, he was a police officer and he was like, do you know that you were speeding? And
Stop it right
do
now.
you know that you hit them in the intersection? Wait, what?
What is an
What is an
intersection?
intersection, son? Like, what do you mean? So yeah. Every time he gets a hold of somebody's phone, he's like, I want to watch kid cop shows. Where did you find
That's
this?
him seeking information.
That's
I
right.
like that.
Yes,
right.
He said, I want to be a cop. How do I use this language?
Yep.
Like, what do I
Right.
need to say?
So now he is his own officer. He has this little pretend badge and he works it out.
Miranda rights.
Yes.
All of it.
All of it. But he kills me when I hear him in the room. Do you know why I pulled you over? Wait, what do you mean? Son, nobody likes to hear those words.
Nobody.
But yes,
That's
that's Mr. Nehemiah. He is definitely his father's child.
Right.
Absolutely Brandon's child.
I love it.
How do you feel like the libraries are in the schools nowadays?
I knew you were going to laugh a little first. Because you guys, Mrs. Massey
Are they
is a teacher.
updated? Are they still updating the libraries?
So I'm going to sit there and say this. At my school, I teach at an absolutely amazing school right now that's actually going to be going through some changes, which is very heartbreaking. But we have an amazing librarian. She's
awesome.
Her name is Miss Tracy Armstrong Anderson, and she is keeping it up to date and organized. and we have students coming to check out books, and they're seeking more. They want more. And we have classes actually coming down, bringing all of their students to check out books so they can do projects, so they can seek information, and not just from English or English language arts. You have it from science, you have it social studies, just across the board. However, that is not the case at all schools.
Yeah.
There are some schools that straight up are shutting down libraries, where the libraries are extended classrooms, the libraries are testing centers, the libraries are a whole bunch of things outside of students going in there and exploring and learning and seeking that information and that knowledge, which is heartbreaking, especially when we have such low literacy rates. Our students, a huge portion of Clark County School District's demographic are English language learners. And the greatest way to learn our language is to be exposed to it in an array of settings, including something that is, recreational and, non-academic. Go find a book on a topic that you enjoy reading.
Right.
I tell my adult ed students, go turn the TV on and put the closed caption on, so as you're hearing the word, you're seeing it and you're able to make that connection. It's heartbreaking. And a lot of times people sit there and think that you can put an iPad in front of a kid and this is all the information they need. But if they're not taught proper research skills, they think that everything that comes up on that internet is correct. And
It's right.
And it's not.
It is not.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know the difference between a, reliable source. And we need to teach them these skills sooner, because even if they do graduate high school, they're not making it, or they're not as successful once they actually get to college. That's where we have them in remedial English classes. We'll even sit there and tie in remedial math classes. We're not preparing our students fully for the next step. So the libraries are not the same, which is the reason why we need to get more people in these community libraries, these city libraries.
And these new libraries are
gorgeous.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
are.
gosh.
They are gorgeous.
I went to the one far out. Is it?
Summerlin?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
library. It's
It's
like a
amazing.
mall. There's the
Yes.
little spiral staircase
There
pop off.
is.
They got vending machines. Before we couldn't have anything to eat and drink. We got vending machines in the library. So now you got no excuses. You can get you a cold pop and you can go get you a good book, and you can enjoy all of that in the library. And I was excited when I walked in. And I remember I used to look forward to library in school because, of course, we had that 2 books a week or whatever that we could check out.
Yeah.
And I was looking for. I used to be a Goosebumps reader. That was my series. Goosebumps, and I think was it Babysitter's Club? Babysitter's Club and Goosebumps.
Yep.
I read every
I
single
didn't read
one.
the Boxcar Children.
I didn't read
I
that.
don't think I did.
But I was big on Goosebumps, honey. That was my thing. And I was always reading, and that's why it makes me sad when number one, with my daughter, I don't see her read as much as she used to. So now I force her to. I don't want to make it a chore, but you're going to read. You're going to read something.
Tell me about it.
Because it's definitely something that's important. And I know that you have Samae read. You read to her.
Yeah.
You read to the little baby Azalea.
I do. And
So
because I feel like even if Samae, because she has her moments where she doesn't want to read, but we get the books anyway. And they're going to be right there, and she's going to see them. You know what I mean? Because it's still going to put the books in her mind.
Right.
And then they still, at her age, she's 7, so they're still doing the logs. So she has to read anyways.
Right. You
for
have no
school.
choice. Well, that's good that her school is doing that.
I don't force time on her, though. She might sit there sometimes for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or sometimes she only sits there for 5 minutes. But as long as she's getting it in daily, I'm okay with it. So
I have a fact about the library, but one, keep her reading. That's
yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
The better you're
And she
able to
sees me
read,
reading, so.
the more you're able to apply success to other aspects of your life, which is good. But I met my husband at the library.
Oh,
that's so cute.
No
that is awesome.
I met
That was my
Mr.
story.
You
Educated
never hear that.
at the UNLV library, club lead that I used to call it when I was an undergrad. And I hate the library, which is funny because I love to read.
Yeah.
I hate going to study at the library. That is not where I'm going to get my best work done. Like,
okay.
I want to sit. And I'm a teacher, so I think it's because I'm used to working with like chaos around me.
Sure.
I'll go to happy hour. I'll go to do work. I'll go sit at the hookah lounge. I'll go sit wherever to not sit at a library. And I happen to go up there, and he loves it. He needs the structure of the library to study. And I met him outside, and he stopped me, and it was cold day. And we sat outside, and we talked for about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
That's deep.
It was so cold.
That's what's up.
And I was like, do you want to go get coffee? No, I don't drink coffee. Do you want to go get some ice cream? No, I'm lactose intolerant. Do you want to go? And he's listening. He has all these excuses. And I'm looking like, what?
Do you want to talk to me?
Yeah, do you want to talk? Like, what are we doing? Let's go get some hookah. No, I don't like hookah. Like, let's go get a drink. No, I don't drink. Like, and it was so much. And I was just like, what the heck? But he was so intriguing, and I was enjoying talking to him and his spirit and his energy and everything else. And come to find out months later, it was because it was around payday time, and he was broke. So that's why I wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh, the truth came out. That's so cute. That is so cute.
I was like, I just met you. I wouldn't expect you to, like,
buy for me. Right. I'll get my own.
But the library will always.
Absolutely. That's what's up.
He is my educated thug, Mr. Ned Brian Massey.
Right. I was going to say you're going to get in trouble.
I almost said the full name. That's a curse word in our house. But we met outside the library, so the library is
That's what's up. And so with you being not only a woman educator, a Black woman educator, how do you think that makes you, if anything, work harder? Or, I mean, does it change anything with how you have to conduct yourself or how you handle certain situations?
Oh, that's a good question. And you would think that I would have a question, like an answer off the top of my head.
No, and you don't have to.
To be honest with you, I think that my race is an added benefit.
That's good.
Especially the community that I work in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Yes, absolutely.
I work with students of color. I have Hispanic students. I have Black students, where they don't see people that look like them in education.
Yep.
And it's an advantage to me because even though our backgrounds may be a little different because all person of color's experience is not the same, however, there's a certain cultural relevancy that I can bring to the classroom where I have that look that their mom, they've seen from their mom or their grandma or their auntie. Like, I have that tone of voice. I have that compassion, that love, that a teacher that probably has never been really exposed to that, wouldn't necessarily be able to use.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain level of respect where it's like, who you? Yeah. Like, I feel like I promise you, like, when I be like, Malik. Yeah. Malik. Yeah. Like, who are you yang at? Who are you, and it's that energy level. And the kids appreciate that. Like, I remember 3 years ago, teaching. There was a student that told another teacher that Black people don't have a lot of education. Mm-hmm. And that teacher said, really? Yeah, Black people, we if we're lucky, we finish our high school diplomas. And so the teacher says, let me go show you somebody. And so they bring the student over to me. And they said, Miss Owens, because at that time I was still Miss Owens. Miss Owens, tell them about your education. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking, and I'm not. My husband says I do like to talk about myself, but I don't. I'm not someone that likes to tell you all that I have because I want to speak for myself. Now, if I have to pull my credentials for you,
I'm going to pull them out.
I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to let you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to be what I lead with because I shouldn't have to.
Right.
And I just remember that kid being so amazed.
That's
that
awesome.
Not only I had that, but my friends had this, and my sisters, and my mom is seeking this, and by the now my dad has his bachelor's degree. Like, we come from now that generation. I should say we're building a generation of education, formal education, which is beautiful. Now, as far as professionally speaking, me being a Black woman, you already know if you come on strong or you know, confident and sure of yourself, some people might sit there and think that you're a bitch, which is very unfortunate because it's not that's what it is, but I'm very much so like I'm here to do a job.
Exactly.
And I work for the kids, so I don't have time to play your games. I don't have time to go back and forth. Like if you're not cutting, you know, if you're not cutting it, and you're not doing what needs to be done, like I'm gonna call you out on it because we're teacher leaders. We need to hold each other accountable so that we can then hold our kids accountable.
Right.
And so it's a blessing being a Black woman in education. I just know that it's going to probably get more challenging
Absolutely.
as I move into administration because it's going to be difficult, especially me being a Black woman that stands at 4'11", but I have a personality of a giant.
You absolutely do. I was going to say, your personality is like 9'7".
Yeah, I tell people all the time, you don't see these long legs? Like, don't let it fool you. Like, I'm tall, even if it's just in my head. But it's every day you feel like you have to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. And as frustrating as that is, I'm okay with that. Because you're only as good as your last job or your last work or your last task. Yep. So if I'm constantly trying to prove myself, that means that I'm going to be better than the next, you know, the day before. And I'm hopefully going to be better tomorrow than I am today. So ultimately, go ahead, throw it at me. I'm gonna get you every time. Like,
and she really will. She honestly
time.
will. I appreciate any time I get to hang around you because you have a presence about you that makes other women that naturally have that, I call it that rise up, naturally have that rise up in them. You make it come forth. Like, you're like, no, you're not going to sit back and have your shoulders all down and head all down. Pick your head up.
Yep.
Shoulders back. And let's go ahead and conquer whatever this is you have to do. Yep. And she gives it to you, and you would think she had 10 kids at home because she gives it to you in such a motherly way.
Right.
And she just naturally has it. So I can see why you are so beneficial to the kids that you have that are fortunate enough to have you as their teacher, because I'm sure that you're one of those teachers that they're not going to forget. They're gonna be like, you know, I don't remember all my teachers, but I remember in 8th grade I had Mrs. Massey. And I remember she told me one day, you know, pull my pants up or she was gonna, you know, whoop me or something. So like kids in that area, because I mean, it's the area I grew up in. Mm-hmm. So kids in that area, we respect stuff like that because that's how mom talks to us. That's how auntie talks to us. That's how, you know, big mama talks to them. So that matters. That's how they understand. Yeah. All right, she mean business. Let me go ahead and get it together.
I'm not playing. Like, and it's so funny because my husband says I'm the biggest softie with my little brothers. They're 12 and they're 6. And I kind of am. And he said, but where's that beast that I see in the classroom? He said, you don't play. But the funny part about it is, like, even though I don't play, like, we still laugh and joke and I give candy. But it's they know, I tell them every day, oh, we have a lot to do today. You know, I jam-packed class, blah, 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 blah. And this is every day. You would think that they would, you know, but it gives them that sense of urgency where we don't have downtime. And I tell them, I'm never working harder than you do. This is your education. No one can take that from you. Right. I love everything that I do. Like, I love going to
and work. Y'all can't see her, but she's really smiling big when she's thinking about her kids. I
do.
So we do have some educators that truly appreciate what they do, because that was another thing. Me and Lex talked about it not too long ago. There's a lot of teachers that just sign up for teaching for the check. Yeah. And
they don't last very long.
They don't.
And their days are very long because the kids see it. I don't want to necessarily say when I said that being a Black woman is a benefit in my community, it is, but ultimately kids don't see the color. They see if you're being authentic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they don't care about race. They care you being real. Because my next door, my grandpa at work,
Mr. Rogers. He's so amazing.
6-foot-something cowboy, wears his boots every day, his belt buckle. Just the simplest man from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love him. And our kids absolutely fall in love with him because they know he wants to be there.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's hard too. Like, he tells them from the first day, I don't like you, and you know, and just all these things, and it's crazy because the more he tells them, the more he really does. He's so sentimental. It's not even funny. And our kids work their butts off for him. Like, when we still had intercourse exams in algebra, he had a 98% pass rate.
Wow.
Which is just ridiculous.
He's like a teacher we grew up with. Like,
yes,
one of them
super
old
traditional.
Traditional, like, for real, like when the grade book was still handwritten, you had to have that blue book with the gold spirals where they had to write everything in. He comes from that generation.
Yes, and he does not waver from it. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy because we teach in a world now that's always like, oh, we need collaborative grouping and we need iPads and, use technology.
That's right.
And you just it feels like certain times that, the classroom is a show, that you're putting on a show. That's not him. He is very much so, I write on the board, you write in your notebook, you work it out, you do all your problems. He's very traditional, and it works for him.
Yeah.
And I'm being very honest with you. Not too many teachers can come with that approach, but it works for him because his passion is so real.
It's authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very authentic. The kids, they need you to be authentic. They need you to be consistent.
Right. That's right.
And they need you to be like... They need structure. They need procedures. They beg for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, when they see that it's chaos, and every kid's going to try you, but it's all about your reaction for the small things so we don't get to the big thing. Mm-hmm. And it's about preparation. So, yes, the teachers that do it for the check, those are the teachers that are saying, the kids won't sit down and I can't teach anything. They spend more time on classroom management than they do actually teaching their content. Mm-hmm. Because even the kids that do, quote unquote, all kids want to learn. I hate when they sit there and say, like, they don't even want to learn. Right. I'm like, no, how's your packaging? You know what I mean? Like, or are you making it seem like it's an option? Kids don't have an option in my class. We mean business. We're working. Right.
But so, not even that. Are you relatable? Like, when you're up there teaching, are you literally talking textbook talk is what I talk in?
Yes.
Or do you got to know your crowd, like they say with comedy, or know your crowd.
Yep.
That's right.
So the way that you work the lesson plan and the way that you strategize how you're going to bring it forth, you got to know your crowd.
Yep.
You got to know what type of children you're dealing with. So if you're teaching at a school like Monaco, which is an amazing school, like I said, it's the neighborhood I grew up in. You can't textbook talk those kids.
No, because it's like, what does that mean?
It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, I don't even know what... You got to really bring it to where they're at. And when you do that, it makes a world of difference. Like, it truly makes a world of difference.
And if you seem passionate about it, they're going to be passionate about it.
Right.
So, like, it definitely... There's some things, because I teach science, and I absolutely love it. It's the greatest blessing to me, but my background was not in science before I started teaching. I have an English degree. I have African American Studies degree, and then now I have a master's in science. But beforehand, like that,
it wasn't on your radar.
No, what you want me to do? Yeah. And now it's the greatest blessing. But the first year, I was still figuring out the content. I was still trying to understand the concepts, and every day still. I had to sell it. Like, this was the coolest, most interesting thing. I go home and I talk about, you know what I mean? Like, go teach somebody else this. And they buy in.
Yeah.
It's about the experience.
That's what's up. That's definitely good. Outside of teaching, though, you do a lot of other things. Busy woman. She is not just a teacher.
No.
She also is very, very loyal to her sorority sisters and her group. And I mean,
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm a member of Theta Zeta Omega chapter right now,
and she's busy with it. She's not one of those that grows up and then they just fall off. No, she's active.
I made a lifetime commitment. I'm active and financial, and that's very important because I made a commitment to this organization, to my community, to myself,
right? To
make sure that I stay engaged and involved. There's amazing mentorship. There's amazing sisterhood. There's amazing. It's just great to be around so many like-minded women, and being able to give back to others what was given to us. I didn't come from a family of college-educated women. I didn't come from a family of like sorority members. Like that's new to us. I was actually the first, I'm pretty sure, in either side of my family to go that path and that way. And it's the greatest decision I've ever made in my life, to be around so many strong Black women from all walks of life, all backgrounds, and to know that we work with a common purpose, a common goal. I'm really involved with our youth group Ascend, and our kids are, man, they're our future, so we got to give them, the same knowledge and more that was given to us, because we got to keep it going. I need somebody to be able to take care of me when I'm old.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I need to know that we handing our world off to someone that's prepared and ready to go. So it's an honor and a privilege to stand with and be amongst, like, the illustrious women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority.
I love that word choice. That wordplay was so nice. Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I have to ask, because we've been talking education, when you were in school, and I'm going to ask this to both of you, do you have that one teacher that you just remember that stood out from the rest? Or even two, but just that teacher that you knew really genuinely cared about you, even outside of just the classroom?
My third grade teacher, Miss Allen.
Okay, shout out to Miss Allen.
She was amazing. She was the type to, because when you look at the class, I would say that there was about 25 kids in that class.
Okay.
But it felt like she had a personal relationship with each kid and knew something personal. Even if it was one fact, she knew something about each kid. And she realized, which is what I've seen being in high school or whatever, if there's one kid, two kids struggling from the rest, they're almost grading them on the same level as this kid who gets straight A's in everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes they don't take the time to see that this kid doesn't learn the same way this kid does.
Yes, that's
and
so
you're
true.
Failing that kid off of what this kid can do. You know what I mean?
Instead of taking the time to just
there's
approach
no curve,
it differently,
which I understand is not a curve and everything, but like, yeah, you see the kid struggling. Maybe reach out a little more. You know what I mean? And that teacher did just that. And she was awesome.
Shout out to Miss Allen.
She was awesome.
Lexa Flowers, third grade teacher.
There you go. Hey, Heron.
What about you, C?
As I reflect, I'm going to be honest, I've been very blessed to have amazing teachers. Like, there's not just one. Like, I can go from Miss Yule, my kindergarten teacher, that I couldn't wait for the last day of school.
I can't even remember my kindergarten teacher's name.
Her first name. She used to wear these beautiful, like, long, flowy skirts that had, like, the little bells on the end of the drawstring.
I remember those.
So she used to wear these, and, like, she just had this blonde hair and just this sing-song voice. So it was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So my fourth grade teacher, Miss Stiggy, who was just this petite older woman, but she broke down things on the overhead projector in a way that we could just grasp it. I had a hard time passing my fours multiplication tables that year, but I finally got it. Like,
you got it.
Right. To just Miss Noah, 5th grade, Miss Sight, 6th grade, Mr. Birth, my social studies teacher in 7th grade, my geography teacher in 8th grade, my U.S. history teacher that set us down and talked to us in 9th grade when 9/11 happened, and we legitimately watched it on television.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were living on Offutt Air Force Base at the time, and that's where President George W. Bush came to kind of like regroup and different things like that. So the base was like shut down, and just being able to remember that and work through that. And then high school, like, just there's so many.
You were definitely fortunate
to hear that.
Yeah, I'm definitely, because I'm thinking back and I'm like,
there's a lot of names I can't even remember.
I can't even remember all of the names.
Yeah.
There's a couple to where I can see their face, and I remember them, but I don't remember their names. There's two that I remember the names, and one, unfortunately, I just saw on Facebook has passed. So Mr. Ross was a super when I say that, man, and it was at West Middle School, which y'all from Vegas know where West Middle School is. Yeah. He was my algebra teacher. And I remember when I first went to West, it was in the middle of the school year, and they put me in accelerated math. So he was the accelerated math teacher, and then he also taught the lower math level. Yeah. So I was in his accelerated class, and then when he was giving me the work, I was like, this y'all accelerated work? And he said, yeah. He was like, you got to remember, what school you're at. He was like, but you know what? I got something for you. That next day, he brought some stuff that he had from his high school students. And he was like, I'm going to give you some worksheets out of here because I can tell that you're not being stimulated. So he made a separate plan just for me so that I could still be challenged in his classroom. He would talk mess to the kids in the hallway. I think he coached basketball. He just was involved in his community. Yeah. And he made sure that I think they knew where he lived. Like, he was just that guy. And it was genuine. Mm-hmm. He laughed with you. He would cry with you. Yep. He broke up fights in the hallway. Like, Mr. Ross was that guy. You didn't want to fight by his classroom because he gonna hem you up. Mm-hmm. That was Mr. Ross. And so, my condolences to his family because you definitely lost a great soul. He was a good guy. And then Miss Graves, this was 5th grade. She was a substitute. She actually came in after, I think, one of our teachers just quit. And she was this very elegant, classy Black woman. I had never seen anything like her before in my life. And she always wore super nice pinstripe suits. I think she had them in so many different colors. She had her heels on, makeup done to a T, hair was whipped, and she just was that lady. She taught very elegantly, but she always told us, if you don't get something, please come tell me. So that I can make sure that you understand before you walk out that door. Mm. And this was, I always went to schools in not so great neighborhoods. So I didn't have too many that really cared. But those two are two that I can absolutely remember. And so, yeah, they were great. They were great teachers. Those are the ones that left that lasting impression.
Good.
I want to touch on something that you just said as far as like not going to school in not so great neighborhoods and having teachers that don't really care. I think that's a misconception that so many people have, that these schools that are in the hood, like you get the bottom tier teachers, and it's absolutely not the reality. There are some. I was
going to say, the ones I came across, they really were just there, and this is your work, and boom, that's it. Yeah, but now I get to see the flip side when I get to roam the hallways of where you're at.
It's definitely a different monster, like a different beast. Whether you teach in the Summerlin, Henderson, Green Valley type of area, or if you're teaching on the east side, North Vegas, west side type of thing, we have different battles. We have different challenges.
Right.
It's hard to get on our side of town. We're dealing with, did our kids eat today?
Yeah.
Like, did they get sleep last night? Did they get to take a shower and get clean clothes? Like, do they know they have a safe place to go to tonight? What was their reading level when they first even came into us? Mm-hmm. Like, do they have access to books at home? Do they have access to internet? Like, it's such a challenge, and because their basic needs may or may not be met. If your basic needs aren't met, and this is just the hierarchy of needs, if you don't have your food, your shelter, and different things like that, we can't go any higher than that. I can't educate you because you're
hungry.
There's a level to this,
right? Yeah. You're tired.
And versus if you're teaching at the Green Valley, the Henderson, different things like that, they don't. Generally speaking, they don't have those issues. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, they come from a family of education. Oftentimes, they talk about language acquisition.
Right.
Kids that grow up in households with parents that are educated, off top are at an advantage because from a young age, they are exposed to and learn more words than, the student that has a parent with, a low education level. And then we go even further. When you're working with the ELL population at school, they're speaking English, but when they go home, they're back immersed in all Spanish, from the music to the TV to the conversation. And so it's a battle, and it can be taxing. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, teaching, especially on the east side, north side, west side, it's not for the weak.
It's not. It's absolutely not
for the weak. And as much as we take care of the kids, we have to make sure we take care of ourselves. We have to be mentally and physically and emotionally, spiritually secure and stable, because we take on so much in a day. Like, they talk about the stress that teachers go through, and the reason why our mental health may be off, because we go through so many emotions, so many highs and lows, without even realizing. Absolutely. And it's normal to me, not even realizing that I am going through these highs and lows. And my husband, he makes me laugh sometimes, because he says, Cierra, I don't know how you bounce back so quickly from stuff. Like, there'll be a second where, like, I'm devastated, frustrated, and then, I breathe, get myself together, and then we laughing and joking again. And he's just like how do you do that sometimes? Or, there'll be moments where I sit down and I finally have time to think, and I reflect on something that happened at 8:30 this morning, with a student, where it's just like, dang, and then it can take you there. Yeah. And you're thinking about it until 8:30 the next morning when you have the opportunity to see that kid again. It's just, it's not for the weak.
It's definitely not. And I get to see firsthand what you guys deal with, and it's real as far as for the kids that may be hungry, and the kids that, when they go home over the weekend, they may not eat again until Monday. And Lord forbid, there's a 3-day weekend, because that means that I got to wait till Tuesday to come back and eat. And I always heard of it, kids being hungry and only eating at school, but I didn't get to see how real it was until my husband and I were putting together like oatmeal and like Uncrustables and stuff to send with a few of his students that he knew were too prideful to tell him that they were going to be hungry over the weekend, but they love and respect him enough to where they will receive it from him. They won't be humble enough to go to the school and come get like those boxes of food that you guys give out. Because they definitely give like and you guys get they get good produce now. Really do. Like, they get good stuff, but these kids come from a home to where grandma might be too prideful or mom might be too prideful, and we're not going to get those handouts, but your baby hungry. Yeah. So they'll come to Brandon and they'll joke about it, but Brandon's like, "Nah, baby, I think he really meant that." So he was like, if I can't do nothing else, oatmeal stick to your ribs. So let me go ahead and give you a few. Coach Taylor always got oatmeal on deck. So
that's our breakfast, hands down. Oatmeal.
Man, that oatmeal. He was like, at least I know if they don't have nothing else this weekend, they got a couple sandwiches and some oatmeal, and they can, be good. But it's real. And then not even that. When I saw that there were girls in your school 8th grade year, they're with child. That caught me completely off guard, because in my generation we got pregnant like in high school. But like when I saw the 8th grade, I'm like, she's genuinely still a baby, like genuinely. But her life is about to get real, and now she's at school and she's starving, because she's not just eating for herself, she eating for herself and this baby. So I remember going to get Brandon lunch, and I was like, let me throw some extra fries on this order and another thing of chicken nuggets so baby girl can eat too. And so it's just, what you guys do is major, because you got to hear about moms getting locked up. Yeah. I got to go live with grandma now. I live with my TT, but she don't want me there. Like, you guys get dumped so much information and so much heartbreak and struggles, and got kids losing siblings and getting put on house arrest and probation. And I'm like, my God, like I saw it on TV. What was this, the movie called, like the one with Coolio made the song, was A Dangerous Minds. You see that on TV, and you watching movies, and everybody's like, oh my God, that's so awful. That's y'all, it happens in real life.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, it's real. It's legit. It's real. And so I commend you guys and y'all have fun with y'all kids. I really get to see Cierra, and Cierra, she really means like, no nonsense in her classroom, you guys. I just want to put that out there. I walked in, she had the jazz music playing. Kids were silent as I don't know what. And she's at her desk, she just typing, chilling. They know not to talk. They better not say nothing.
That was reading day. And then, that was individual reading day.
And then if she hear a sound, she look up. And they see she looking, they get back to doing whatever they was doing. She don't even say nothing. She just looks up from what she's doing, makes that face like what you doing? Right. And they go back. She don't got to say no words, and they right back to doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Came through on a Friday. That's achieved 3,000. Hands down.
She had the jazz popping.
Like that's where we relaxed. And then, but funny part, you came 2 days before. You probably heard Michael Jackson, Lauryn Hill. Right now, I'm really big on Stevie Wonder right now, so that's all they hearing. And you know, doing crazy projects. It's you talked about all the stuff that our kids go through, and it's amazing that they can still come in there and smile.
Yep.
Yeah.
And laugh with you and joke with you. Because I'm looking like, yo, y'all done lived 1,000 lives and y'all only 12, 13, 14.
Yep, exactly.
Like, I don't know what I would do. And I'm about to be 30 in less than a month. Like, I don't know what I would do if I've experienced all that you had. Like, our kids, for real, go through PTSD. Like,
no, they truly do.
A reality. And the stuff that is normal, and this is not just my students, this is if we sit there and talk about people of color in general, like, which is my biggest focus, like, we talk about people of color, we normalize so much that's not normal.
It's not normal, right.
Like, and to us it is, and it's so crazy to hear these stories and these experiences, and it's just like, that's not okay. Like, that's, what is this? Like, and when you think, and we brush it off like, you know, yeah, that's what they're going through, but we can figure it out. And then you really think about it, and you're like, wait, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Like, and we have to think about, like, especially in our schools, we need more social workers. We have an amazing social worker at my school. She is an absolute beast. We have an amazing counseling department.
You guys do. You have great counselors there. You do.
But it's just so crazy. We need more of that in schools. We need more of, it's okay for you to not be okay.
Yeah.
And you need to tell me you're not okay before, you know, it goes to the left. Like, there's no reason why we have so many black men and young black boys attempting or committing suicide. There's no reason why we have so many young black girls and black women that suffer through depression and think that that is what they have to do. Like,
right.
and it's normal. There's no reason why you just can't be sad for a minute. Like, we're always so used to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward. Let's, like, solutions oriented, especially as the black woman. Like, we gotta keep going.
We gotta keep
so
going.
Many people are depending on us. But what happens when we crack? And that is something that I'm dealing with right now, as far as just, like, for myself, because I'll preach to everybody, take care of you. Like, go sit down and take care. I'll tell everybody that in a heartbeat.
And you're not doing it?
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's the quote? Those that can't do, teach, right?
That's right.
Yep, that's you.
But I need to start doing, because all that I am to so many people, and
then if you're not there.
Exactly. What does it matter?
Right.
And especially now, like, I'm thinking about mortality and legacy a lot more than I ever have. Just because it's a reality for me right now, and it's important that I remember, and all black women remember. You two ladies remember. You can't pour from an empty cup, and so. Even if you just sit down at the beginning of the day and make sure that you take 5 to 30 minutes just for you. Sit down and have a cup of tea. Sit down and read the Bible, read inspirational words, write your intentions for the day, like write what you're grateful for, look in the mirror, tell yourself you're beautiful, and then do the same thing at the end of the day. Allow yourself that opportunity to unwind and debrief, because I make the mistake all too often, because my days are so long that my alarm goes off. I hop up and I'm running and I'm running and I'm running and I'm running and I'm running.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Because, you know, I'll teach during the day, and then I teach adult ed at night, and then I have to come home and have to eat dinner with my husband and homework. I'm in school, like, you know, and doing all this stuff, and I don't stop again until I lay down again, and then I wonder why my mind doesn't turn off as I'm sleeping.
Yep.
It's definitely a practice.
It is, because I'm guilty.
It is. And I tell her to just stop.
She does.
Like,
Lex will
stop.
tell me, she was like, when I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I meditate.
Yep.
I'm so jealous of how she And she has a little baby, a little newborn, and she still finds the time. So to me, that means, Whitney, you have no excuses of why you're not taking this moment.
She makes the time.
I make the time.
She does. She makes that time.
It's hard because it's a practice.
Yes.
But you've now just made it a routine that it just has to happen throughout your day.
It goes.
Yeah.
When you begin it, that's where it'll end up. And I take the time to be in my funk too.
Yep.
I texted her just yesterday. I'm in a funk.
Yeah, she did. Yep. She was like, I'll get out of it, but I'm just going to feel right now.
I'm going to feel.
Yep.
And I'm going to feel it all the way.
Yep.
So you drive yourself crazy.
Always.
And I do. I think I honestly legit had a mental breakdown the other day where I was just like, F it all. F you if you don't like it. F you too. I'm cussing out people on the road. I'm snapping on Brandon. I took a moment and I was like, Whitney, you are bugging.
Yeah.
And that's the day I decided to go upstairs, put my muumuu on. I poured an intentional glass of wine. It was meant to be, enjoyed, but I didn't even make it to it because I went upstairs. The TV didn't get turned on. And I just took a moment. I apologized to my husband for my negative ways. And I was like, I'm just going to rest. I turned my mind off and I literally slept so
But do you know why
great
the TV
that
didn't
time.
get cut on and the wine didn't get drank? It's because you intentionally put it out there that I need to stop.
Yeah, I had to. Yep. I had to stop.
Yeah.
But we absolutely do appreciate you for coming on, Mrs. Massey. We know that you got stuff to take care of, girl, so we're not going to hold you up.
Go to my youth group.
Yes, we talking about rest, and she about to get moving.
As soon as I'm done with my YouTube group today, ends at 1 o'clock. Parents typically have their kids picked up and stuff by 1:30. I'm gonna have some type of champagne wine, something.
Yes,
by 2.
Yes,
so
you do that.
We'll see what's going on.
You do that. Well, we appreciate you. We really do.
It was beautiful.
And I really hope that this episode is listened to more than, some of the other ones because it was a lot of great information. This is one of those episodes that I'm hoping that you listen to with your young one. If you didn't, replay it. That's the good thing about our show. You can replay this.
Go back.
Yeah, you can definitely go back and play it again. But until next time, we do appreciate you guys all for coming on. And then also, if you want, we would love to have you on again. But with your husband.
Yeah. Oh, with my boo, my teddy bear.
Yes,
I think we can do that. Let me before we go. I gotta make sure I shout him out because he said
absolutely. Please do.
I shout him out. So this is shout out to my educated thug, my teddy bear, my baby, my partner, someone that not only matches but rivals my love for the community. Iron sharpens iron. So I am very blessed to have him as the head. I am the neck, and together we'll go far.
Absolutely. Oh, that was so sweet.
I know. I think I got points.
I ain't giving no shout out to Brandon. I talk about him on the episode too much. Hey, boo. Hey, what up? But until next time, y'all, it's your girl Truth.
Lex Love.
All right, it's been real. Bye, y'all.